have finally achieved an amazing cinematic look for my Apple log footage using Dehancer on Davinci Resolve. Let's check this out. Okay guys, thank you so much for being here and welcome back to the channel. I hope you like the color grading job that I've done here with my clips. Now I've been shooting only with an iPhone 16 Pro and I only shoot on Apple ProRes log. All the clips you see here were shot on iPhone. It is just mind-boggling what you can do with only your iPhone in your pocket. I don't even use a lens, an ND filter or CPL filter or anything. Just point and shoot, try to use my main camera on the iPhone. I try to obviously avoid the telezoom or the 0.5 camera just to maintain that native 4K resolution, and afterwards I just load my footage to Davinci Resolve, the free version, and use the color grading page. Dehancer came along and just made my workflow even 10 times better. Honestly, it is a time travel machine. It makes your clips and your video look really cinematic. Now I've done my fair part of just learning, and the learning curve is just really steep. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to learn how to color grade, but I've been watching so many color grading videos, and thankfully there are so many resources on the internet out there. And by no means I am no pro colorist or anything, but I'm trying to achieve a look that is pleasing to my eyes and something that I can especially use with multiple clips shot in different circumstances. Now what you can actually see here is many clips shot, for example this one here in Paris. It was more or less a sunny and cloudy day, same day actually. Now this is a whole different environment. Back home it was everything just super sunny, the sky is so blue, so it's a different vibe. This was back in summer, and this was actually in Hamburg last December in the Christmas market. It was snowing. I've actually used the same look and the same feel that I've achieved with Dehancer on all these clips, and this is what I'm striving to do. Is I'm trying to cut my workflow process, my workflow time in color grading and optimizing my time. And thankfully with Dehancer this was really possible. I couldn't do it with Davinci Resolve color page because sometimes it can be overwhelming. There are too many color adjustment panels and options. But with Dehancer it's really straightforward, and this is the subject of this video, is just to show you that how easy to use. Now it can be a little bit on the pricey side, but I would much rather invest in a tool like this just to have my final product and have a really nice looking, good looking final video, compared to just investing a lot of money in the gear or having a professional camera. I would probably make that investment down the line in the future, but having a tool like this absolutely changes the game. So let's jump into the color page, and I'm going to show you how to use the tool. Pretty straightforward, really easy tutorial, and I'll probably upload some other videos in the future around this tool itself. So let's jump in the color page. And currently we are in the color page, and I'm going to have this clip here which is shot on the iPhone Apple ProRes log. So this is log format. You can see this is just a washed out desaturated image straight out from the iPhone. Loaded everything right here, and I'm going to apply the Dehancer. Now you have to install Dehancer on your laptop, and you're going to have to activate your license from the color page, from within the color page in Davinci Resolve, and I will actually attach the installation guideline in the description of this video. So I'm going to add a coloring node, and here you will find it in the effects. You go all the way down and you have Film Emulation. So I'm going to drop Dehancer on this node. Now obviously Dehancer will apply the adjustments to most of your image. If you need fine tuning afterwards, you can still apply other coloring nodes and basically just adjust whatever the sky, the blue, the reds, or the greens. Now, for now, I'm just going to use only Dehancer. So let's choose the camera that I was using. It's an Apple iPhone and Apple log. So now I'm just applied my input. The image looks already a little bit dark. I'm going to apply some exposure to it. And when I'm applying, I'm actually going to talk as I'm doing my workflow. So when I'm actually adjusting my highlights or the exposure, I only look at the bright parts of the image, because if I look at the darker parts and I increase the exposure, I'm just going to overblow my image. And basically already you can see the highlighted parts and the bright sides are already more than enough exposed. So I don't care about the contrast and the shadows yet. The details will come up afterwards using the correct sliders. I will keep my exposure to around 0.6. Looks good. Now here I have some grain applied already to the film or to the input. I'm just going to disable the grain. I don't like the grain particularly because I don't like my video to look really cinematic-y, I would say. Not to overdo it. And I'm just going to disable the grain for now. I just want my image to be really clear, but I'm going to apply that bloom and halation and softness afterwards to make it look very dreamy and just kind of have this trippy vibe to it. So I'm going to disable the fill grain, and I've just adjusted my input color space. So for the exposure it's okay. Input, I'm going to jump basically to the film. So the film is the output film that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use the Kodak Vision 350D, optimized basically for videos that were shot during the daylight. And you can see already now it's coming to life. It's coming to a cinematic look. So I'm going to keep this push-pull enabled, and I'm going to push a little bit. Actually, I'm going to push all the way up just to have a little bit of warmth. I like my videos to have a little bit of warmth, maybe more than usual, more than you're liking, but I really like that warm look to the image. I absolutely hate that clinical, sharp blue look on my videos. So I'm just going to push it all the way up to 2, and then I'm going to print. What I wished Dehancer was able to do, or probably it's not also possible in Davinci Resolve, so it wouldn't be possible in Dehancer, is that I can shuffle between these color adjustment panels, because the workflow seems a little bit inconsistent. First you're going to have to do the input. It's not that you will have to, but the chronological order makes sense to put the transform your colors and apply the film, and then you have to go to the print, so you can choose on which film this is going to be printed. Basically, this is how they used to do it back then. And I'm going to apply Fujifilm 3513 print film. So now my image is kind of contrasty a little bit too much. I'm going to adjust the tonal contrast, and I'm going to reduce the shadow so I can reveal my details. And I'm going to keep it around -9. Now keep in mind that I can always adjust and come back to these options and adjust my details and my shadows. So I'm going to keep the analog range limiter, so I won't be able to go overboard with the contrast and with the highlights. Looks good. Now for me it's very important that I give this a little bit of boost because it looks really desaturated. Now you can come across some color adjustments that might look a little bit overlapping or might look redundant to you, but you can use them basically interchangeably, or you can use either this or that. So I will go to the film developer and I will give this a little bit of color boost. I will not use the color density slider in here, so I'm going to use the color boost, enable it first, and I'm going to give it a little bit of color. Now my image looks really punchy, those colors are popping up. I'm going to keep it about 64. 64 looks good. Then color separation, I don't need to adjust anything here. The contrast boost, I'll probably, if I need the contrast afterwards, I'll probably still keep it as is, to be honest, just to maintain my details. I don't want to really overdo it with the contrast, just to look contrasty. It makes no sense. Film developer. Now the print, I'm more or less done here. Film compression. Now for the highlights, the film compression helps to compress these highlights, so I actually use it. Now I enable it. It looks better. I think if you compress the highlights, it looks even better. It starts to get a little bit soft, and that's the look that I'm actually going for. So for the impact, white point, and the tonal range, I'll keep the white point I probably won't touch anything in these sliders here. I'm just going to enable the film compression to compress the highlights. Now in the expand panel, I can control the black points and the white points, basically the highlights and the contrast and the shadows. So this is more like applying to the exposure. I'll probably keep it 100 as is. For the black points, I think I like my shadows detailed just a little bit, just a touch. Now I always keep in mind that you want to apply these color grading, let's say, adjustments to other clips, and if you try to go overboard with these adjustments, you are probably gonna find some bad surprises if you apply this to other clips shot in different circumstances. And now what I'm trying to do it is I keep it reasonable, keep it, let's say, in the middle, and have a nice cinematic look that I can use, basically that I can use in the future. So the goal is to have a power grade, or let's say a LUT, that you can use with different clips. So now with the expand, I'll probably collapse this one, and for print is okay. Now I'm going to go to color head, and I'm going to enable, and I need to give it a little bit of warmth. So I'm gonna apply some midtones, and I'm gonna increase the midtones tone slider. This is gonna give it a little bit of warmth, and this is coming a little bit, probably go, yeah. For me, this looks good. I actually like this warmth look to it. Film grain I will not use. Now we come to the secret sauce of Dehancer, which are the most important tools for me, at least, the halations and the blooms. So if we apply the halations, they're gonna give it a reddish orange kind of blow to the highlight edges. And if you kind of have to locate where your modifications will impact the image, and the halation will have these red edges around the highlights. So if I disable, you can see here some people and this kind of umbrella detail, and if I enable, it's a bit too reddish. I think I'm gonna keep it at 35mm, and I'm gonna reduce. I'm gonna keep monitoring the change. Yeah, I think that's subtle, and I will maintain a subtle halation. I think I like it that way. I probably won't boost it much more. And we go to the bloom. Now the bloom will absolutely give the softness to the image, and it will kind of desaturate or de-sharpen those hard edges. So if I enable this, it just give it that glow, and it makes everything really dreamy and more cinematic. This is the most important, I think, for me. Keep it 35mm, and I'm going to reduce. I'll just maintain it at about 20. Film damage, I don't want to use film damage. That will kind of, if you play your, I'm actually going to use it, but it's going to take some time to render. Now film damage is going, when you play your video, is going to give it that scratchy, it's going to be giving that probably amount jitter. Now it's still rendering, but I don't use film damage. It feels way too, it just messed up my footage for me. I don't like to use it. Film breath, also don't use it. I disable it, and the gate weave is going to give it some movement to your footage, but still I don't like it. I just basically like to transform my footage from log to a cinematic look without applying too much. Like vignette, I probably also won't do it, and that's it. So that is actually pretty straightforward, and that was actually the workflow on how to create a cinematic look. Now if you save this, for example, you save this power grade or your look, you can actually use it with your future clips. Okay guys, so this is basically it. I'm really satisfied with the image, really satisfied with the outcome. If I want to add, just in case I want to add some film grain, I'll keep it really fine-tuned. For example, if I enable this, I don't want my image to become really noisy and anything. I'll probably keep it really fine, 35mm ISO 250 and about 14, but for some reason I just like my image to be really clean. So that's one thing. And also I can apply a vignette, but it's not the best timing to apply a vignette. A vignette should be applied right in the beginning because it will be subtle to the modification of exposure and the contrast. So I'll keep it without. And this is good for this clip. And if I come to this clip, for example, and it turns out that my look here looks a little bit off, or I feel like the color boost here is not very natural, not very realistic, the sky is actually really blue, I will go ahead and maybe isolate the sky. Actually redo this for you. So I'll add a color node, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the qualifier. I'll select the sky. I'm gonna click this icon so I can see what the qualifier is actually applying. So I think it's pretty isolated to me. If I keep clicking, then I'll stretch it a little bit, just a touch around the building. So I think this is pretty isolated, and if I go back, then either I try to change the color from the offset wheel, for example. I can go ahead and give it a little bit of more. You can see it's becoming a little bit greenish, of a cyan, maybe desaturated a little bit. I'll go ahead and select the color slice. I started to use the color slice, and it is really powerful. Honestly, it just isolates the skin color, the skin tones, the different colors, the red, the yellow, the green and cyan. So it gives you that fine tuning of specific areas of your image. You don't have to apply all the color at once on the whole image. So if I go here to the cyan, I can either increase or reduce the hue. So if, for example, like so, and desaturate it a little bit. Now it's becoming more or less subtle. So for me, I actually like colors in my image. I like to give it a little bit of color boost, and this is basically it. Okay guys, so that was basically it for Dehancer. This is basically my workflow as of now, and this is definitely going to change in the future as I grow and learn color grading, and that's what makes everything more enjoyable. So thanks for Dehancer for reaching out. They just asked for a review and for any optimization and recommendations altogether. So if you have anything, please leave your comments down below and I'll make sure to reply to you. Now, Dehancer went and they did all their research. I really appreciate the effort. And they also have a mobile iOS version. So this is the Dehancer Mobile App. It was specifically designed for the iOS devices. You can use it with your iPhone, your Mac, or your iPad. And there's a plan for the future to develop it for Android as well. This come in really clutch, especially if you are traveling on the go, you don't have no time, or you don't have a setup to edit your footage. You can just shoot, point and shoot your log footage, apply your color adjustments, your LUT, your film emulation, and you can simply upload to your socials. This can be really useful. I can see using this myself in the future quite a lot, especially when traveling. You don't want to edit or spend too much time editing. So let's check this out. I have this raw or log footage, and I really like this footage. It was a really sunny day. I have these camels, the beach and everything. I'm going to apply the film. So same, I'm going to choose the Kodak 3 Vision 350D, and for the push-pull, I'm going to give it a little bit of warmth. Then I'm going to go to film grain. Film grain, I'm going to reduce as much. Looks way too much. And I'm going to print. I'm going to apply the Fujifilm 3513 print film. I'm going to give it a little bit of exposure. Looks way too dark. And for the tonal contrast, I'm going to adjust it afterwards. And I'm going to developer. I'll reduce the contrast so those details can be shown. The gamma correction, color separation, I'll give it some color boost, and the colors are coming into life. This is way too much. I'll keep it around 40. Compression, let's compress the highlights. I'll keep it as is. This is the before, this is the after. This is actually the film applied, and this is the final result. Now I'm going to apply some halations and bloom, and we are good to go, I think. For the color head also, I'm going to give it the mid-tones tone. I'm going to push them a little bit up so the image can be a little bit warm, and that's okay. Film grain, halation, of course, this is way too much. I'll reduce the amplify slider. Bloom as well, I'll reduce the amplify slider. Now, as soon as you select the option, it will be applied, but you're going to have to slide up or down and reduce based on your preference. I'm pretty happy with the results. I think this looks really nice actually. So guys, that was basically it. I hope this was not way too complex or way too long. I tried to keep it as much, cover all the Dehancer tools. I can see myself really using these tools in the future just to maintain that quality of the content, and I like to give my, let's say, videos that specific look, that specific character, and I think it's pretty nice. So if you might consider it, make sure to check my code for 10% off of all the products. If you have any improvements or recommendations or suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments. I'll check them out and I'll reply to you. Subscribe, like, all that jazz on YouTube, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.